Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm back to talk about Supernatural, episode 1506, titled Golden Time, which premiered Thursday, November 21st, 2019 on the CW. I'm recording on the 22nd. It's 11:44 p.m. for me right now, so a little over 24 hours since the episode has aired. So huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode already, please go do so first, and then come back and see what they say about the episode. My other video reminders are up on screen, so take a moment to remind yourselves of those. The only difference now, I was just too tired to record my reaction or my recap after the episode. So from then and now, I kind of did watch a reaction video from Abnormally Adam. So not only was it great to get his reaction, but it also kind of recaps the episode for me too, for certain things. So I might reference him, but then at this point, it's been a very long day, and I'm kind of forgetting some things as well. So that's something to be aware of as well. It's just been a really long and stressful week for me because of school. So I'll try to do this in 15 minutes. Hopefully I wrote everything down that needed to be said. So we'll have to see right now. But let's start the clock. Let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, I think it's shortly after the events of 1505. I don't expect it to be like a week since those events, but maybe like a day or two or something. That's for sure. Episode reminder, I am going to say it's probably going to be the return of Eileen Leahy as well. I mean, I heard that she was going to come back. I didn't expect it to be in this way. So that's something there. Episode breakdown, or the storylines for the episode, I'm going to say it's between two storylines. The first one being helping out an old friend, aka Aileen, and the second one being hunting down a djinn. So the first storyline, this is, like I said, Aileen as a ghost comes back and she needs their help. She doesn't want to return to hell, but she doesn't really want to turn up like the ghost that they hunt. So she has been trying to get in touch with Sam and Dean. Sam goes back to Rowena's place to get the supplies he needs that could hopefully help Aileen out, and he got some answers along the way. Dean does not tag along until the very end, so I'll talk about that in a second. But with the second storyline, with the djinn case, that is actually a solo case for Castiel. So that's very interesting there, just to see him actually going through the process and not just getting references to it or having the brothers join up with him later on or having them tag along. So it's just interesting for that as well. And we got to get a little bit more of a headspace into Cass while also talking to a human not aware of the supernatural. So there's that. Last scene of the episode is in the bunker with Sam telling Dean that he needs to keep fighting or they won't be able to find a way against God, because Sam can't do this without his brother. So there's that. Tidbit-wise, though, we get Sam showing signs that he's still grieving for Rowena, especially when he finds her hidden witchcraft stash of all her books and ingredients and all that. And he shares it with Eileen, like how things went down and stuff. So that was something there. Also, we do see Dean playing Castiel's FBI superior for that brief moment. You know, when the actual authorities kind of question their purpose there and they ask to speak to their superiors, with the whole FBI, or with the whole cover setup that they have with the phones that Bobby used to have and that Garth used to have. Dean had to play the role this time. So we got to see that happening. And this was how Dean was able to communicate with Cass about God still being in the picture and how he's still a threat to them, because Cass was still ignoring their texts and their calls, and he confirmed that he was getting them from Sam. He just wasn't replying, which kind of pissed Dean off because of the gravity of the situation. But again, the last time these two spoke, they were not on the same page. So there's that. End tally or death tally, I would say it's the three witches in the family, Jesse, Emily, and their mother, who was not named at all. They were all killed in this episode. And then we also get the sheriff, the djinn that was masquerading as the sheriff, being killed by Cass. So that is something there. Actually, in this episode, we got all three of them actually killing the main bads of the episode. We got Cass killing the djinn. We had Emily being killed by Dean, and then we had Sam killing the mother witch. Jesse was killed indirectly by Rowena when she entered Rowena's hexed apartment. So that's something there. But moving on to most shocking moment of the episode, I think for me it has to be just how extensive Rowena's hidden stash of supplies was. I mean, I knew that since no one was finding anything, I figured that she would have hidden it somewhere else. I just didn't expect the where and what was in that stash. I mean, like spell books, sure, ingredients, yeah, but the fact that Sam found her journals, or it's implied that they're her journals because like it wrote down, she was writing everything down to the very end. So I was kind of surprised by that, and I'm also a little intrigued to see what exactly she kind of wrote, if it was just spells, if it was just like pertaining to the craft itself, or if it was other things going on in her life too that she wrote down. I don't know. But it was just like, it was a lot to take in, and then it was a lot for Sam to take in too, which you could see. So that was something there. But moving on to familiar faces for the episode. There's actually quite a bit. Character-wise, we have the familiar face of Elaine Leahy, and she was in the end resurrected with a new body, and everything because of Sam being able to finish the spell that Rowena had started to create because of Mary. So that was something there. She didn't even complete this. They explained that she didn't complete the spell because they decided not to pull Mary's soul from heaven. So without a soul, they couldn't really use the spell to begin with. So that was a familiar character face there. Familiar actor faces was 3 times in this episode. We got the Witch Mother herself, played by Keegan Connor Tracy. Recognized her. Everyone in the fandom will recognize her from season 2 as Karen Giles. Also, she was Sarah in the 418, the monster at the end of this book, as Chuck's publisher. So there's that. Also, Descendants fans out there, she plays Belle in the movies there. Also, Once Upon a Time fans, she plays the Blue Fairy or Mother Superior. So, familiar face right there, which you immediately recognize from the promo itself. Another surprise familiar actress face was Emily herself, played by Jodelle Ferland. She was actually Emily Merchant back in episode 119, so 15 years ago. I mean, I kept thinking she looked familiar. I just couldn't place where, and I didn't think it was from within the show itself. But then she also played Bree Tanner from the Twilight Saga Eclipse, the 3rd movie of the franchise. So that's another one there. And then finally, familiar actress number 3 was the character Melly Krowowski, aka played by Jennifer Spence. She was actually in episode 714 as Jean Holiday, who was the manager at the Plucky Pennywhistle's place that Sam was freaking out over. So, yeah. She's a lot older now with a kid, so if anything, you could say they're the same character or something, but since she was just a recent graduate, I believe, in that one. So that was some familiar actresses from there. But let's go on to top 3 favorite moments. I will say the first one is just the interactions between Sam and Aileen, the dynamic between the two of them. We got to see them kind of updating each other, but then also kind of like confiding in each other as well, which I truly appreciated. Their dynamic was definitely short-lived because of her death in season 12, but it was very interesting to see how they were able to connect, and in what, like, she asked him, hold on, let me grab the phone. All right, sorry. So it was very interesting when Elaine kind of asked Sam to talk about Rowena when she saw that he was getting choked up about it. And then when they're kind of talking about her time in hell, or him offering her to be someone to hear her out when she needs to talk about hell, and confining the fact that he has been in hell so he can understand, but she was claiming like, no, I'm not ready for that type of thing. So it's a dynamic I miss, and now that she's alive, I hope we get to see more team-ups between them again. But do not bring Aileen back if it means she's gonna die again. I want to see some not happy cases, but like surviving scenarios for them to achieve once again. But they definitely shared a sweet moment with the hug at the end. You can show how much she truly appreciates the effort and the fact that it actually worked. So that's something there. Another favorite I had, which is a small one, was just Dean's little serial moment about commenting on how the box has the jokes in it, the fact that he's wearing hot dog pajama pants, the fact that he admitted to marathoning Scooby-Doo for the last few days. So referencing back to that show's probably referenced so many times in the series, which is great. It just had me thinking of the crossover episode. But it's just like having that bit of comedic addition to it. I mean, Dean was pretty much absent in this episode, so at least I got something from him, which I will talk about in a little bit, and you'll probably guess why. But the last third favorite I had, or the last favorite, I don't know why I say third favorite. The last favorite I had was just Castiel having a solo case and us actually being part of the process. Although it was a little tricky. I don't know if it's because I missed it, because since he is solo, a lot of it was more visually on being able to figure out from the clues just who the creature was after. But I know when he was explaining to Millie that what he suspected the creature to be that could have taken all the missing people and possibly her son, I was surprised when he was mentioning them and then ending it off at the gin. So that's like, was I missing something? But it was just seemed like more of like a rush to get through the case. But then also it was great to see Castiel doing the case. And then it was just like, I was very impressed that he was able to take care of the djinn so easily. The djinn was shooting at him. Castiel just didn't blink an eye. He swapped the gun away and then he pushed him down and started stabbing him. Granted, one stab would have been enough, but like he really went for it. But it's just like, it showed how much easier it is for an angel to be a hunter than it is for a human to be a hunter. And it's like less scrapes and stuff. But it was just like, it had me also wondering, why wasn't this force of power from Castiel ever used on any of the past cases before that he's a part of? But it was just great to see Castiel going through the motions for a case. And also coming to an understanding within himself when talking to Millie about not running away if you wanted the system to change. So I guess the system meaning the hunt with the Winchesters, I'm guessing. I don't know, but it's very interesting there. I don't know what else to say. But moving on to top 3 peeve moments. A peeve I did have was the fact that the resurrection spell was only a one-time deal. I mean, I understand why, and the fact that Death finding out she was going to find a way to put an end to it. I understand that. But then it also just sucks because of all the dead characters we've been coming to see, and then to find out that there was a way to bring them back, and yet we can't use it. It seems like, I mean, Eileen will get a second chance, but what about Kevin? What about Rowena? I mean, I guess Rowena they can't, because like her death is what keeps the barrier up or keeps the rift closed. But like, you know what I mean? So it's just, yeah. So there's that. But a third, not gonna say third peeve, but the next peeve I did have was the fact that Dean was pretty much absent in this episode, especially from the hunt. I mean, he was in the cereal scene. He was in the scene where Castiel called his FBI superior. And then he was in the scene where when Eileen first came. And then it was just at the very end when Sam needed his help. So I guess my peeve was the fact that Dean wasn't willing to go on this hunt to help out an old friend. He was still too stuck in his spiraling state of figure out what was right, or what was free will and what was truck, which I understand. But then at the same time, if this was just some random case, I can understand Dean just wanting to take a step back and not be involved. But it kind of really made me angry that he wasn't willing to go and help with Eileen. Like, I understand that maybe he's not as close to her or something as like Sam was, but it's just more of like the support. The fact that he didn't go on the case kind of showed that he wasn't as supportive, so it made me angry. I was disappointed for sure that he wasn't a part of that hunt, just because if it was a regular hunt, I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but if it was anybody else, then yes, I can understand him taking a step back because they're just a stranger maybe. But the fact that it was Eileen, it was one of their own, and he's not helping along except to the very end, then it's just like, it's a disappointment. So there's that. But moving on to random questions very quickly. First, did Castiel struggle with healing the kid's leg because of the bullets he had sustained? Or is that power struggle due to what's happening in heaven and their fleeting power supply? Granted, I'm still speculating about the state Heaven is in based off of where we left it at season 14. So that's a question there. Another question is about Rowena's journals once again, because I'm wondering what she wrote in them. Was it just strictly spells and anything related to witchcraft, or is it something like her own experiences throughout life? All the different time periods, maybe some entries about certain people and her growing dynamics or distancing dynamics between certain people. So that would have been something cool to figure out as well. The third question I had was, is Dean still connected to Amara? I forget if that connection was ever severed between them when they last came face to face with each other in the season 11 finale, but I'm just wondering if that's going to play in at any time, because Sam is still connected to Chuck through that equalizer wound, and it just had me thinking about Dean and his connection with Amara in season 11 due to him being the bearer of the Mark of Cain. But I don't recall if that connection was ever severed or not, especially now that we found out that Amara is back on Earth. Then does he feel her, or if she leaves, then it's not connected anymore and there's a timer. So I don't know about that, but I'm wondering. It just randomly came to me actually before I started recording. So there's that. And the last question I have was, do you think Sam will continue Rowena's witchcraft as her protege? Do you think he'll study her books, learn a little bit more about her craft, or is he just going to keep them at the bunker as storage for a time where, like, oh, if we need some magic help, then we'll go to that. So that's something there. But moving on to predictions very quickly. Based off the promo for 1507, it looks like the episode returns December 5th. So we do get a week hiatus, understandably so, because next Thursday is American Thanksgiving. They usually don't air anything new on the day, so we get a week break. But the episode is showing Dean working a solo case while strolling through his social media from the looks of it, and it looks like he's meeting up with an old buddy of his as well. So maybe this is going to make up for his absence in this episode. But based off the synopsis for the episode, it reads that Dean takes a break from demon slaying to recapture his mojo when he meets an old hunting friend, Leo Webb. The two have a wild night out. I'm a little worried why in the synopsis it has the two have a wild night out in quotations. I'm a little worried what that entails. So I guess we'll have to wait and see about that. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. What did you guys think of the episode? What did you guys like about it? What do you think will happen next? Let me know in the comments down below about all those thoughts and questions you might have. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want to check out my Tumblr page, link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all the good stuff, all found in one place. Go check that out. I'm a little more organized on WordPress, but it's still a work in progress as well. Tumblr, WordPress, all that. I'm blanking again. Wow. Okay, live journal entry, link for that is down below. I try to do jot noted recaps of the episode as I watch it for the first time and then post it. So if that helps keep things in line for you, go check it out. I will tell you that I do have it written. I just need to format it and then color it before I make the entry public. So just be aware of that as well in case there is a time delay. But otherwise, guys, that is pretty much it. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for your patience. I hope you come back in 2 weeks to see, well, I guess depends when I post this video, but I hope you come back for the next episode when it airs. But until then, guys, this is Mel. Wish you all a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.